Welcome to A Kind Life. Today I'm joined by Lisa. How you going, Lisa?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you.
That's awesome. So I actually met you only probably a month ago or so now. It was pretty cool, actually. I found your incredible business online and I reached out to you to see if you would be happy to do some donations for a bake sale I was running for Victorian Lamb Rescue. And you kindly said yes. So thank you. It was really cool that we started knowing each other like that. And now we're here tonight on this podcast. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
No, my absolute pleasure. So tell us a little bit about yourself for people who may not know you.
I am Lisa. I'm from Love Eat Cake by Lisa, which is the home of the decorated biscuit, or as I'm claiming it to be. And I make vegan decorated biscuits. So I can put logos on it, names. I do all different shapes and sizes and colors and a whole heap of stuff that just makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely verify that. So for the bake sale, you made these beautiful lamb cookies. But before that, I actually saw you at the vegan market at Federation Square, and you had these really incredible, like cow-shaped biscuits and like toucan, even things like, I think you had it there that day, you even had like sharks and trams and all these really cool things. And they're just, yeah, they're really good value. Like you look at them and they're so realistic, but also so vibrant and something that catches your eye.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun when I'm working on my biscuits.
I bet. Yeah. So outside of your business, is there anything else that you're interested in that you would like to share?
I just love cooking, which is kind of good that that's what I do for a living.
Absolutely. Yeah. And where did that passion for cooking begin?
Well, to be honest, thinking about it, even as a kid, I used to get the Woman's Weekly cake book out, and I used to make everybody cakes, and I'd forgotten about all of that. And I'm like, I think, when you look back, it's something that was just always there, but it just never occurred to me until later in life that this is what I want to do.
Yeah, that's so
So
cool. Was that
yeah,
at a
always been creating with sweet stuff.
was that at a really young age? Like, did you like doing it from when you were a child?
Yeah, I was probably maybe 7 or 8.
Impressive.
Yeah, and making a cake for my dad, I remember, which was to replicate a mountain. And so I had wafer biscuits, which was the road going up to it. But who knew that when you put the candles on, all the wafers went up in flames?
Oh, that was a lesson you learned on the way.
Yeah, it was a lot of chaos that particular night with flames everywhere.
Oh my goodness, that's too
Memorable
funny.
though.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
So, which part came first in your journey, your business or being vegan?
My business came first. I've been doing this business for probably about 8 years. And I have been, well, I was just discussing it before. I've been vegetarian for probably close to 14, 15 years. And then just the more I would, read or watch or just listen and talking to people, we just slowly transitioned and became vegan. So then I had a non-vegan baking business, and so that has taken me a number of years to actually transition all my existing customers over to my vegan biscuits. So, it's taken me a couple of years to work on different recipes because my customers can't tell the difference now.
Mm.
And that's what I wanted was that seamless transition um, to go to vegan. So that is where I want to be as a business, and to be a good corporate citizen and doing those sorts of things, which is true to what I believe in.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, I guess, did you have to kind of openly tell some of your regular customers that you were transitioning things to vegan, or was it sort of just something that happened over time and they didn't really know the difference?
I probably was a little bit cheeky. with my customers, and I created the new products, and I said, oh, this is a new recipe, new formulation that I'm working on. And they're like, oh yeah, this is great. And it wasn't till afterwards I said, oh well, it's actually dairy and egg free. And they're, oh okay. So it didn't kind of occur to them that I, I was making it vegan. They were just, it's allergy free was their take on it.
Yeah, that's something I was wondering, that for a lot of people as well, like we as vegans want to see vegan on a label, but for other people, it could just be that, dairy free, like the allergen side of things, like dairy free or egg free.
Yeah, well, that just came to me probably in the last few months. I had a friend who's got a little boy who's allergic to eggs, and he goes to birthday parties and he comes back very disappointed because, he might have been given a bit of bread or something like that, and all the other kids got this or that or something else. And this particular party he went to, in his little bag, he was given one of my biscuits. And he was so excited because he knows the brand. And he was so excited when he got home and told his mum, and he said, oh, I didn't miss out this time, and I knew that it was Lisa's, so I was okay to eat it. So I ate it right there. And he was just over the moon that he could be just like one of the other kids. So it was a real, I guess, a bit of a wake-up call for me, because I don't position the products as that because they're vegan. So I assume everyone knows what that means. And it was just some feedback from some mums that said, well, no, if I had a child that was allergic to eggs, I'd be just looking for something that was egg-free or, dairy-free or whatever it might be. They don't actually, until they do their investigation, realise that it's vegan. So I've actually started to change a little bit of my communication with my products in stores to say, this is what this means.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But it's just a different way of looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so did it take a while, I guess in terms of when you were transitioning the product, like your biscuits across, were you sort of trying numbers of different substitutes, or did you sort of try I suppose more store-bought things, or how did that work for you?
I, at the time when I was doing that transition, I really struggled to find, for argument's sake, the vegan butters. And for a while there, I was actually making my own because it had the taste, it had the texture, and it allowed me to have the biscuits so that they kept their shape and that they cooked and they were shelf stable and all the things that they need to be. But it actually got to the point where I'm like, I'm either going to be a butter maker or a biscuit maker, because I just couldn't keep the volumes of both up. And it's been great that over the last few years now, there's a lot more things on the market, and especially with wholesalers for hospitality. They're actually now stocking a lot more vegan ingredients. So the butters and cheeses and the vegan meats and things like that. It's quite surprising what they are now stocking, which is really good. But I'm I guess when I started with the butter, the only ones that were on the market had palm oil in it, and I'm like, no, they're vegan, but I really don't want the palm oil in. So it's just with the ingredients of starting somewhere and then tweaking it to find what you really want. I did find a vegan butter from New Zealand, which was suiting me, but they're now not bringing that into the country in 20-kilo blocks anymore. So I've actually kind of just had to start the process again to just I've found a beautiful butter, but because it's got a beautiful taste to it, so it enhances the natural vanilla beans or the cocoa powder, but it's so soft. So when I cut the biscuits and go to put them on the trays, I'm losing the shape in my hand, but it's nice. So I'm kind of now going through the process of just getting that that texture, but thankfully both of them don't have palm oils and those sorts of things in it. So it's ongoing, and it's just tweaking and finding the ingredients that are just that little bit closer to us, and a little bit closer. And finding compostable cello bags, for example, took me years to get that, and thankfully now I can buy them from a place in Bayswater. So it's just all those little things, which is quite exciting to just play with, which keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah, it sounds like a real science. Like there's a real art to it, isn't there?
Yeah, and it is science.
Yeah.
Which I didn't do at school, which might have been handy.
We always say that at some point, don't we? We think back and think, oh, I could have done something at school that would have helped with this.
Yeah.
And so do many of your customers now, like, I guess I'm intrigued to know, is there people, do you think, that split of like vegans and non-vegans, for example, like businesses, like to them, do they care that it's vegan? Like, is that a positive thing, or is it more that they just know your brand and they like the product and it's just that's something that they know it is?
Mainly with the corporates at the moment, and I think that's going to change. I've started changing and doing a little bit more LinkedIn for corporates, and to start educating them on vegan products in their workplaces. But a lot of my customers, it's not something that they're seeking out. It's a great advantage when they know, but they're looking more for the design, and can you actually turn around 500 in a week? Those sorts of things to get to their trade shows or product launches or whatever they're doing. So not so much with corporates, but it's interesting the selling to direct to customers. I've got the majority of my customers are people who are buying gifts for the vegans in their family, and that they are like, oh wow, this is great, it's unusual, it's something I'm interested in, and I can buy it for my vegan family member, and it's going to make me look cool because I've got something for them, and it's not just going to be a bit of iceberg lettuce, although that could probably be a compliment because it's so expensive. That sort of thing. So I'm sort of getting the gift buyers who are relieved that they'll be doing the right thing by their family member.
Yeah, it's really cool. It'd be interesting for you. I'm sure over the years you've seen some changes. How many years have you had your business for now?
It's probably coming up to 8 years.
Yeah, wow.
Since I thought, you know what, I'm just going to start my own business. I've had enough of corporate life.
And did you do this like full time from the start, or were you working another job and then doing? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I may have said I've had enough.
You went all in.
Because how hard could it be?
I love it. And everything you do is handmade, isn't it? Like they're very intricate designs. So tell us, I guess, like, have you always been kind of artistic and creative in that sense?
No, kind of, I guess at the point in corporate life when it was kind of really making my soul cry, I had this overwhelming desire to be creative. Like it was just screaming at me. And that's when I really got into cake decorating and biscuit decorating, and it just became beyond an obsession. And I just couldn't stop it. But previous to that, no, didn't even pick up a colored pencil. So it's gone from one extreme to the other. And now my canvas is a royal icing on a biscuit.
Yeah, it's so cool. And yeah, I really would encourage people, if they haven't seen, your products, it'd be great for them to jump onto your website and onto your Instagram and have a look, because the amount of detail that you put into it is just, it's wonderful. So it's a real credit to you. I think, I don't know, I almost feel like you're an artist on a biscuit. So you've done very well.
I unfortunately have a lot of fun. I do work by myself, so I find a lot of joy in what I do, and I make myself laugh a lot, and then I just then wonder whether it actually translates.
Yeah,
Whether people in laughing with me or at me, I'm not really sure.
you can tell on your social media, you have a lot of fun with that as well, with like your reels and things. That's very creative. So I think it definitely transfers across into outside of the biscuit space. And I think we could definitely see you have fun with it, which is great.
Yes, I probably have too much fun.
And so what are you sort of working on? What are some of the plans for the future?
Well, at the moment, just sort of a public service announcement, Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
So I started that back in June. And what I do with planning for Christmas is, because I do a lot of gingerbread houses and gingerbread house kits and those sorts of things, and sourcing vegan lollies, which has been quite stressful over the years, but I have made some contacts through the vegan markets that I've been at. So testing things like the lollies to make sure that they stick with the royal icing, they don't bleed colour through the royal icing, because I had that one year and that was fun, and just making sure the gingerbreads stay together. So they get driven around in the boot of a car to see how durable they are, to make sure that they can make it home or to wherever they need to go and not fall apart. So I'm doing a lot of that, and part of the gingerbread kits that I'm doing this year, I always include icing, but because depending on the fluctuation of temperatures, the icing doesn't always stay as fresh as it should. So what I'm doing now is I am creating my own powdered icing mixture, so which is the aquafaba and the pure icing sugar, and dehydrating that so that you can take it home, add the water and make your own fresh royal icing. So that is underway, and I've been doing quite a bit of testing with that, and it's worked. So I'm very excited about that, so that people then could make their own vegan meringues and those sorts of things, but it's in a powdered form. So, and that just came out of, I can't find it on the market, so I need to make it myself. So it's those sorts of things, and making my own decorations for my Christmas houses. A lot of sprinkles that I use, every new batch I have to watch like a hawk, because they might put shellac in it for whatever reason in a new batch, and it never used to have it in there, and it's just doing my head in. So I'm like, I will just do it myself and make my own type of decorations, because then I know what's in it, because it gets so frustrating sometimes. So it just comes out of necessity that I make my own things.
And you told me just recently as well about, and I hadn't really thought about it, is that for aquafaba, you obviously don't want the chickpeas. You only want the liquid that they come in. So you're sort of working on, instead of wasting, getting lots of chickpeas and, wasting them themselves and just using the liquid, you've actually kind of trying to find, I guess, a bit of a partnership with someone who might be using the chickpeas.
Yeah, so I'm actually just going through the testing at the moment. I found someone who makes dips on a commercial scale, and they have the aquafaba from cooking the chickpeas themselves, and that's just wastage for them. So a third party actually put us together. So we're now working that I will take the aquafaba and use it for what I need to do, and they're not wasting it, because they said, we know this is valuable, but they don't need to use it. So that's been a process. So I'm just going through testing their liquid and making it work in what I need to do. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah. I love that there might be a little problem that pop-ups, but you find your own solution, whether it be working with other people or making things yourself. So that's really great.
Yes. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah, no, I love that. And so the other thing you mentioned too, which is really cool, is that you might be looking into doing like some classes in the future.
Yeah, I've had quite a few people talking to me at different markets and have asked, you know, do you teach this? I'm like, oh, I didn't think anybody would be that interested, but I've had quite a lot of that recently. So I'm putting together some classes. So I'm hoping to launch those soon and see what people think.
Is that going to be this side of Christmas or next year, you thinking?
I would like to have it this side of Christmas. It probably won't get closer to Christmas because that's just crazy town for me. But I'd like to do it probably in the next month. But then definitely after Christmas if I can't pull it off in that time frame. So just going through the fundamentals of, you know, royal icing, you can do a number of different things with it. All different textures do different things, and that's kind of your fundamentals. So teaching that and hands-on decorating so you can get a feel for how to do some icing that I do every day.
Do you think that, like, is that going to be suitable for kids? Like, is it how intricate would it be? Is it adults only, or could children get involved?
At the moment, I'm pitching it to adults, but I did what was probably before COVID. There was a group of kids with different disabilities, and I was asked to go in, and we had a ball, and I've never seen so many sprinkles over so much on the floor, and we actually had a ball doing it and painting and all sorts of stuff. So yes, we can have a lot of fun with sprinkles.
I bet. Yeah, I bet. And your business as well has grown, hasn't it? Because I think at the start you were doing this like in your own house, and then more recently you got like a commercial kitchen with a bit of a sort of shop front that you don't have open to the public, but it is, you know, there.
Yes. Yeah, I moved in just a bit over a year ago. That I was just taking over the house a little bit too much. And, you know, I was constrained by volume in the space that I had. I just couldn't do the big orders that I need to do. So I moved into a commercial space in COVID time.
That would have been interesting, I guess, because a lot of your business is, you know, online or larger orders. You know, it doesn't really restrict people having to come and visit you personally. So, you know, were you heavily affected by COVID or not so much?
To the start with, I was, and then it kind of moved from larger corporates to smaller businesses that wanted to just that were making up little hampers or thank yous or whatever it might have been. So it was much smaller businesses that kind of transitioned to. So that was really interesting with different messages or whatever they were doing at the time. So it changed, and now it's sort of starting to go back into larger corporates. Yeah. Now that they're doing a lot more activities and things.
What's the biggest order of biscuits you've done, like for one business or in one order?
It's about 600 was the largest I had, but I had some clients that would want 500 at a time, and it might be, you know, fortnightly for 2 months while they were doing a lot of different events and things like that. So that certainly kept me out of trouble.
Yeah, I bet. That's crazy to think, especially when you said it's a one-person business. So you pumping out 500 or 600 biscuits. Like, how long would that have taken you?
Back then it took me a lot longer because I was just doing it in my little domestic oven. So that was just 2 trays at a time. Whereas now I can do the equivalent of 8 of those trays at the same time I was just doing 2. So cooking the biscuits now is not an ordeal, or you know, like I don't have to put a huge chunk of time because Bruce the oven, all of my equipment has names. Bruce the oven can certainly start to bash that out for me. So that is a massive help.
And I guess, like, what were some of the lessons learned, or, do you have any advice for anyone that might be looking at starting their own vegan business?
Oh gosh, so much. Is doing your numbers, and kind of it's a little bit of trial and error of working out what your capacity is. And sometimes you can just say yes to something and then go, I'm actually not sure how I'm going to pull this off. And you do. It's just with how much grace that you do it. So because I got to a point where I knew I couldn't do more than 500 in a week, was just physically couldn't do more than that. I couldn't scale it up anymore. Whereas now I've got heaps of room. I've got different zones, so that when I'm at a point where I can get people in to come and help me, different people in different zones can be doing different things. So those same activities, instead of doing them one at a time, can all be concurrent. So just getting to know your numbers, getting out there, meeting your suppliers, knowing what's in your product, what you want to have in your product. And sometimes it might be a staged, that you'll start with something because that's what you can get. And then as you're doing your investigation, you can fine tune to bring it more into what you want to do. And that sometimes that's just the reality of it. Know your food laws. Yes. Have fun.
Yeah. And I think that's something, it's probably testament to you and how long you've been doing this for already, and that you're continuing to have fun with it and enjoy it, is because it's something you're passionate about.
Yes. And it's nice to get out and about and meet other producers, and you can learn so much off one another, even though you might not be doing anything alike. It's just nice to be able to talk to other vegan producers. So I love going to vegan markets. Yes, to sell products to and meet customers, but just meeting the other vendors there it's just wonderful.
Yeah. I guess it is something that would be interesting to know, is there many kind of networking options for like vegan businesses? Is it really just approaching people yourselves or going to events?
I personally, and there may be, but it's just meeting other businesses at events and building up relationships that way.
Yeah. And so I guess, like, back to your kind of vegan journey, you said that you were vegetarian for a number of years, and then it was sort of, I guess, a culmination of seeing and learning about things. It wasn't one specific thing that made you transition to vegan. Is that right?
No, it was just slowly but surely. I kept seeing things and hearing things, and I'm like, this is just not right. I don't want any part of this. And that was the other thing, I actually find Christmas quite challenging, because it just breaks my heart with the amount of animals that are slaughtered over that time. And I thought, no, I'm not doing anything to do with Christmas. And then I flipped it around and thought, no, participate in the Christmas and bring the vegan message to Christmas. And people just go, oh, but we just love your gingerbread. We don't care that it's vegan. But I think if I can just bring it into each person's Christmas and get into as many houses as I can, maybe I'm doing my bit.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And have you found that challenging yourself, Christmas time, like attending functions and things personally? Yeah.
Personally, I just stay at home, and we have our own vegan roasts and things like that, because it becomes too much of a hassle. And after a massive lead up to Christmas, because I'm usually working 7 days a week, I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And you've said, during your vegan journey, you've used the term we, so I'm guessing yourself and your partner maybe transitioned at the same time?
Yes.
That's really cool.
And we both did it at the same time, and just went, no, we're not doing this anymore. So that helps.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, a lot of friends with different meals and things, and they'll eat it and then they'll go, oh, hold on a minute. And they'll just sort of look and they go, so this is vegan? I'm like, yes. Oh, actually, this is quite nice. I'm like, yes, it is.
And so I guess, is that sort of something that, you use to spread the vegan message, is through your food? Like when you cook for family or friends, it's not just your business side of things, it's also in your personal life?
Yes.
Do you have any go-to recipes that like your friends and family, that non-vegans, love?
They generally like anything I put up, because it's that funny thing that they'll start eating and they'll go, oh, this is, and then they just stop. And then they start to think, no, oh, hold on a minute. Maybe this is not real chicken. I'm like, well, no, it's not. Oh, it tastes like chicken. I'm like, yeah, it does. So I don't make a big deal about it, because I just think the taste should speak for itself, and it does.
And are you innovative in that space? Like, you're obviously very innovative in baking, but do you also create some of those kind of mock meats or things yourself?
Yeah, I make all the meats and things that we have, because when we were off meat, there wasn't that sort of the alternatives that we have now. So I still make a lot of what we eat. So
I was going to say, have you looked at making those to sell? Like, is that something that you've ever thought about, or are you more sticking to biscuits?
It's sticking around in the back of my mind, because I've got a much bigger oven now, Bruce. That's something I thought, well, actually, you know what, I can make this in volume now. So I'm maybe 2023, I might have a bit of a headspace to think about that a bit more. But yeah, it's just things that we like to eat that at the time I couldn't get, and we like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Especially, it sounds like other people, it's not just yourselves that are enjoying it. So why not spread it around?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, before we finish up, Lisa, is there anything we might have missed that you did want to mention?
I guess the only thing, just being from a small business point of view, would be for anybody out there, I mean, not everyone's in a financial position to go and buy from a vegan business, but just little things like sharing a post on Instagram or whatever it is, that actually does help. So you can do your support via other means if you aren't able to buy the products themselves. So that would be all I'd say on behalf of small vegan businesses.
Absolutely. And definitely as well, for people to think about these kind of things for Christmas presents, like coming up. Like, it's really great, especially like you're saying, where a lot of people may actually buy them for people that aren't vegan or have dietary requirements, but it's because they've tasted them, they know they're good, and it's something you can give to other family members and friends for the Christmas period, and you've supported a vegan business.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you happen to have a favorite quote that you wanted to share?
I was thinking about that, and the one that has stuck with me, because it was actually our school motto, was Carpe Diem, so seize the day. And I actually think that's quite a good one.
Absolutely. Yeah, very fitting for you, Lisa. Well, thank you so much. So what I'll do is I'll link your pages in the show notes so people can jump across, have a look. Like I said, really highly recommend checking out your incredible reels to see, these like out of this world products, because it's really cool how you design them. So I'll put that in the show notes and share them during the week of this episode as well, so that people can have a bit of a look at your cheeky reels and have a good laugh.
I hope they get a laugh.
No, they definitely will. So thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you very much.